Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at some of the biggest boofs in kayaking history. This is not an official biggest boofs list because sometimes it's hard to find when someone boofs a really big waterfall. Sometimes they don't want to post that on the internet. But I found some really big ones, so you should stick around. Now, if you are not a kayaker and you don't really know what boofing is, it's not when you put drugs up your ass. That's something else. In kayaking, a boof is when you go over a drop and you keep the bow, which is the front of your kayak, up, land, and you skip. This is a very useful technique on like smaller waterfalls and like to get over holes. But when you're running big waterfalls, you really don't want to boof because it's a very big impact. You could hurt yourself. A lot of people have broken their backs doing this off of big waterfalls. Some of the people in the video today broke their backs. Alright, up first, we've got a video of someone boofing Tomato 1. It's a 60-footer down in Mexico. This guy lands pretty flat off of it, tosses the paddle. Very obviously not trying to boof. You don't really want to boof a 60-footer. It's a pretty terrible idea generally. And a lot of you more experienced kayakers, you've watched a lot of kayaking videos, might be expecting Tomato 2 next. But I'm actually not going to include that in this video. There's way too many videos out there of people just eating absolute shit on Tomato 2. So you can find those easy enough. Yeah. We have a video of someone boofing Toketee Falls in Oregon. I think it's about 60 or 70 feet tall, and I also don't know who this guy is in the video. If you're watching this video and you're one of these people boofing, leave a comment if you want to be known. If you don't want to be known, that's also understandable. Yeah, it looks like this guy hits a rock right as he's going over the lip and just like bow to the sky, dude. Like full disconnect. That one had to have hurt a lot. Also, don't know if this guy hurt himself, but he was definitely hurting. Alright, next boof we got is of Aniel. He's boofing Aldea Voss in Iceland at really high water. And this one's interesting because I'm pretty sure it's the only boof in this whole video that was intentional. Kind of seems like Aniel just wanted to run this really high. It was like, it's probably better to boof than to plug with that much water. Anyway, crazy video. Had to include it in the list because, well, it's just a legendary boof. Alright, up next we've got James Shmizu running Sahaley Falls in Oregon. That's a 70-footer. Just lands absolutely flat off of this. Real big boof here. This was like Shimmy's 9th or 10th lap on Sahaley, I think. So it really goes to show, no matter how many times you run something, you can always end up boofing. But luckily Shimmy's a tank, so he was totally fine. Went straight to the Royal Gorge after this. Alright, here we got Rush Sturges back in 2009. Running some waterfall somewhere. Couldn't figure out what this was called or where it was, but it's got like a nice stout lead-in, slidey lead-in. Just like comes off like the lip and lands super flat. broke his back on this one. Luckily, he was able to make a full recovery and keep paddling, but those broken backs, man. All right, next we got Briar boofing Metlaco Falls in Oregon. I think it's an 80-footer. Some people say it's a 100-footer, but I don't think that's a 100-footer. I'm pretty sure it's an 80-footer. Yeah, anyway, it's like a nice rolling lead-in, so most people don't end up boofing it, but somehow Briar managed to boof it, and he exploded his kayak pretty good. That's why I included this one. Sorry, Briar. Yeah, kayak just like fell apart in half. Pretty crazy. Luckily, I think Briar was all good. No serious injuries, I don't think. Anyway, on to the next. All right, up next, we've got Andrew Morrissey running Salto Toro in Mexico. Not 100% sure about the height on this one, but I think it's somewhere around 80 feet probably. I don't know. I think it might be a first descent. It might be an only descent as well. He boofed it pretty big. Not a lot of water going over that, so probably hurt really bad when he landed. I don't think he got any major injuries from this one, but honestly, that's pretty surprising considering like how big he boofed it and how little aeration there was at the bottom. All right, up next we've got Tyler Bratt running Abaqua Falls in Oregon. It's 92 feet tall, and he's got his hand paddles on. As he's coming in, looks like he's having a nice line, but halfway down, takes that stroke, and the bow just comes up, and he lands pretty flat. Yeah, he got pretty fucked on that one. He broke his back. Pretty long recovery. Luckily, I think he's like made a full recovery. Still kayaks, but I'm pretty sure that was his last big waterfall he ever ran. We've got one more Abaqua Falls boof. This one from Brendan Wells back in 2012, I believe. Same kind of thing happened to Brendan that happened to Tyler. Looks like he's having a good line at the top, and then that bow just starts creeping. By the end, that's pretty flat. Pretty flat. I don't think he broke his back on that one. I'm not 100% sure about that. But he looked pretty fine at the bottom. Definitely hurt. All right, up next we've got Dane Jackson boofing a big waterfall down in Mexico. Not really sure what this one's called. I've never seen any other videos of this one. It's kind of buried in one of his highlight reels. His like 2014 highlight reel. You gotta like watch through that to find this. And unfortunately, I could only find the GoPro of it, so no third person. But just comes into it and just, yeah, he boofed it real big, which is a little surprising to see from Dane. Best kayaker in the world, but you know, everyone boofs a 100-footer sometimes. All right, now we're getting into the real big ones, the real scorched ones. Right here we got Pedro Estaraga. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Running this big waterfall that has not enough water. There is definitely not enough water on this thing to like decide to run it. I don't know what he was thinking. But yeah, pretty much just boofs 100-footer into green water and is like totally fine. Makes absolutely no sense. Insane video, but I guess some people are just built different. All right, here we got Evan Moore paddling Alexandria Falls. It's a 107-footer in northern Canada. It's like way out there, I'm pretty sure. I don't know exactly where it is because I'm never going to go there, but it's somewhere in northern Canada, pretty remote. This one looks like he's having a pretty good line as he comes in, and bow just starts coming up, and by the bottom, that's a boof. That's a very big boof. I don't know if he got like injured on this one. He's still paddling, so probably didn't fuck him up too much, but definitely hurt really, really bad. One of the biggest boofs ever. All right, last waterfall for the video. And we got two people boofed to this one. Puma Falls in Chile, or Salto del Puma. It's 115 feet tall. And the first guy we got here is Brenier Matiz. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, comes in looking fairly good, and then just like halfway down, bow just comes up, and that was pretty flat. That was a big boof, real big boof. Maybe even the biggest boof in the history of boofs. I couldn't find any bigger ones. All right, and then we got this other guy, David Toro, also boofed Puma. Yeah, I don't really know what happened to these guys that boofed Puma. I don't know like how injured they got. The first guy went back and actually ran it again. Had a good line a couple years later. I saw that on his YouTube channel. So, congrats, dude. You boofed Puma and you plugged it. Biggest boof ever. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you know of any other very large boofs, link them down in the comments below. I'd love to watch some big boofs. Yeah, and I'm linking all of the videos where I found all this stuff in the description. So if you want to watch these videos, not in my video, you can go do that. All right, peace out.